Hello and welcome to my escape. It has been a hot minute. I know that. Okay, we're going all the way back to my September wrap-up because that is still not up. It was just like a bunch of things. I tried to do the red, white, and royal blue vlog, like reaction, and that is not happening. I'm now made the decision to push that off until Christmas break because it is taking me so much time. I've literally stopped everything else on my accounts to try to get this up and it's just not working. Didn't want to post anything else until I had my September wrap up, and now here we are in November and this is how my life spirals. So you know what? I just said, forget it. I wanted that reaction video up relatively close to the reading vlog. It's not gonna happen. It might come in December, it might never get posted. I'm not optimistic at this point, but we're gonna move on with the channel. So, September, what do we got? I read 14 books, all versions of romance, like all subgenres in romance, and a lot of them were novellas, so it sounds like more than it is. So I read one fantasy romance this month. It was Ambrosia. It's actually the second in the Frost and Nectar series. It's a duology, so this is the entire thing. I read the first one last year and I loved it. It's a fairy story, loved it. Sequel, can't get much into it. The series in general, it's a fairy series. Basically, the humans know fairies exist, and the fairy king comes to the human realm and he says, I am going to have a challenge, like a beat 'em for my bride. So it's gonna be a reality TV show for you guys, and then you guys are gonna pay us to watch me how to find this bride through this like reality TV show channel thing. Those are the vibes. He walks into this bar, our main character, drunk out of her mind, really she's having quite a bad day, makes a fool of herself in front of the king. King comes back the next day and he says, you're gonna come compete in this challenge because I don't want to fall in love and I can't have a bride that I love and I know that I will never love you. So we're gonna rig this challenge and you get, you know, what you want out of it. And she was like, you know what? Let's do it. So then they go to the fairy world and it kind of takes off from there. One of the best fairy books I've ever read. Really enjoyed it. The second one was not as fun. I did not care about the guy whatsoever. This is a fantasy romance. I should care about the guy. I didn't. I really wanted him off my page. There were stakes in this, like actual like suspenseful stakes or whatever you want to call them, but they just never panned out because we were more focused on this stupid man. And I'm like, stop! Like the story was so there. If it went in a different direction, if you read the book, if the author didn't take back the thing they took back that you knew that they were going to take back but you still didn't want it to happen, if we had followed that storyline, it would have been phenomenal. It was so there. It had its moments, it had its grit and its depth and its darkness. It didn't fully commit to it and I really wish it had gotten there, but I only gave this 3 stars. Overall, I do really like the series, but I had higher hopes. And then I read 2 dark romances this month. So the first one was I Ever Real? It is a mafia romance, but it is so much more than that. I've seen the cover before, but based off the covers, I did not know it was a mafia romance. I think I saw Real, looked it up on my Kindle, it was that cover, and I was like, sure, let's give it a go. It literally blew me out of the water. Like, I was not expecting this, A, from the mafia romance, and B, just, I don't like the covers, so I wasn't expecting this from the book overall, but it's, again, mafia romance, animosity to lovers, kind of second chance, very culty, coming out of religious oppression, very much they're both morally gray. They're not morally gray. Very much they're both like on the darker side. So it opens on this young girl, she's fleeing a cult, she gets back into society, it's a dark rainy day, stuff has happened because it's a cult and she's fleeing, so you know, I'm not gonna give away the first chapter, but it starts off intense, okay? It starts off with a lot. And then there's a time jump, I don't remember how much, but she's an adult now. She's an event planner, I think. She runs like her company with her best friend. Her best friend is married to some mafia guy. I don't know, that's the first book in the series. It's a standalone series. I didn't read that one, I just read this one. And anyways, that guy's best friend is the mafia boss, and him and our girl they butt heads like a lot, and we don't really know why, but we know that she is super salty to this man and he loves it. None of her friends know about her past. She goes by a new name now, she has a new identity, and then one day she starts seeing some people from her past just kind of in her periphery and she kind of freaks out a little bit, and then she realizes that they're hunting her and they've come back for her. So she runs to the mafia boss and she says, hey, I know you hate me, but we're gonna make a deal right now. And he's like, what is going on? And she's like, can't tell you. Can't tell you, let's just make this deal. And then it kind of goes from there, and there's a cat or a dog, there's some sort of pet. I just love it. I literally loved it. It's probably my second, actually not even probably, it is my second favorite mafia romance. Really caught me off guard, would highly recommend. Will definitely be checking out more in the series. So good. I was not expecting this angle. I loved the ending. Ah, yes. And then the second dark romance I read was Bait by Jade West. Jade West, why does she go so hard? I really just think they're gonna be these like spicy times, and they are, don't get me wrong. They are, but they are so much more than that, and I am never prepared to be hit as hard as Jade West hits me. Like, I am begging for these characters to just be okay. Like, I need the world. I need the world for them, and I should not feel so deeply about them. But the general premise is we have two characters. They both have traumatic backstories and some stuff that has gone on, and they're both kind of just in these dark wells of depression, trying to function for the people around them, trying to just manage day to day, but there's no real joy, there's no real life there and everything like that. And then they stumble across each other on this kink app or dating app, and they share the same kink, but it's like a dangerous kink. So there is CNC here, primal play, lots of like those ones, so check triggers. There's also triggers in both of their backstories, so again, it is dark romance, do check triggers. But yeah, they're both just trying to make it through, stumble across each other on the dating app, and they're like, this isn't gonna be anything but like us trying to have some fun, something. And then of course, the more they hang out, the more they talk, the more they understand each other, the more they share about like their past and their traumas and this and that. And the way these two come together, and like they don't complete each other and they don't fix each other, and that to me is just like so much more than like two characters who perfectly fit with each other and they're just, oh, it's the world, like that's great. And there's a moment for that. But these two, like, they both have jagged edges. They don't go together perfectly, but they go together enough, and they're able to like just bond and heal together. They're like, one's not healing the other. Both of them just like coming to terms with their past and their history and themselves and like what that means, and like moving forward while also having this person there that supports them. And oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. I gave it 4 stars. It was way more than I was expecting it to be. Ah, my heart. And then in September, I also read 3 monster romances. Why? I hate monster romances. Why did I read 3 of them? They were novellas. They were all novellas. So they were like very short. Like I think 2 of them were like 50 pages. But like, why? I don't know. Anyways, getting into it. The first one I read is called Primal. It is a Goldilocks retelling. Like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, except they're like legitimately bear men. I didn't love it. It was too much for me. I'm not a monster romance girly. I don't know why I keep trying to be. It's not even really something I want to be. But yeah, they're bear men, like with the fur and the not bathing and the grunting. Yeah. I gave this a 2-star, and if I felt that it was simply because they were monsters that I couldn't get into it, I wouldn't have ranked it that low, because I don't think that would be fair. However, it was the book, okay? The characters had no dynamics. They were all so bland, so boring. There was no chemistry between any of the characters. Like, you have 3 bearmen and this girl, and like, I couldn't tell the bearmen apart, and this girl was literally just like blank piece of paper. Like there was no depth to anything. There was no depth to the story or the world building. It didn't set you in like a certain scene or a vibe. It wasn't anything driven. There was no plot, there was no characters, the plot wasn't good. Like there was nothing behind the story. I really didn't enjoy it. Then the next 2 novellas that I read were actually kind of part of the series. The first one was Sacrifice to Her Demon. I gave it 4 stars. I read this one because I got it on Stuff My Kindle Day. I don't think I realized when I got it that day that this was a monster romance. I picked it up because it was like Halloween vibes, and I got into my Halloween vibes very early. So a lot of them on this list, I wanted the creepy, scary Halloween vibes. But I was like, okay, sure, I'll pick it up. And then I picked it up and I realized like it wasn't like, oh my god, demon, as in just like a human with a dark side. No, he had like horns, and I think he was green. Actually, he's green on the cover, so yeah. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. 4 stars. It was only like 40 pages, and it started off so strong. This girl is like being sacrificed on this like slab, and medieval times, and she knew this when she was born. She was like, I am being born to eventually grow up to be sacrificed to this demon. And she's like, I hate that. I hate that my family would do that, and my community and my town would agree to that. So she was supposed to be sacrificed as a virgin. She does the smishity smashity, you know, in the woods with this farm boy long ago, so that when she does get sacrificed, she's not this virgin. She wants to piss off the demon. She's like, I'm gonna die either way. Piss off the demon. He takes it out on the town. I get my revenge in the afterlife. I'm like, oh my god, I love how petty you are. I love it. Because you know what? Your town shouldn't have done that to you, and your family shouldn't have done that to you. So I was like, I love the energy. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And then, you know, the demon arrives and it kind of tapers from there. So it wasn't bad. I would have liked a different ending, but it was a fun time. And then because this was so short, and also because I wanted those revenge vibes that I didn't really get from the end of the other one, I picked up another one in the series. They're on Kindle Unlimited. This one I gave a 3 stars. The heroine wasn't as fun, but I did get the vibes I wanted in the end. So I would have liked the ending of the second one to be the ending of the first one. Because I didn't really like the characters in the second one, and I did quite like the characters in the first one, but it is what it is. Basically, that one, she is in a destitute family, and her father is trying to sell her off basically to the highest bidder for marriage, but like just to the highest bidder, and these creepy old men keep coming knocking. She's like, I can't marry these guys, they'll murder me. And the dad's like, well, if they're gonna pay, I don't really care. She ends up making some spicy deals with a demon, and he's like, I can make your darkest desires come true. Turns out her desires are real dark, and we love that for her. Okay, and then the bulk of my reading this month were contemporary romances. I read 8 of them. Just hopping right in, I read The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Seems like everyone has read this series. It's never appealed to me. I don't love reading college series because I'm in college, and it's too not relatable for me, you know? Like, I can suspend reality for dragons and this and that because it's so far removed from my life, but when they're in college, I'm like, you don't have the time for this, or this would never happen. Like, I can't get over it. So I generally stay away from them because I know they're just not my bag. These are also, I think they're all hockey romances, but like the sports romance definitely, and I'm just like, no. Never looked at them, never had any interest in them. And then I saw Real, and I was like, oh my god, that seems hilarious. And I looked it up, and of course it's the first book in the series, and of course they had just been added to Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, okay. So I picked it up. I gave it 3 stars. Not unexpected. I did have some fun moments with it. It is basically the hot popular guy needs to pass this class, and there's this nerdy girl who likes this other like jock. And the hot popular hockey guy goes, okay, like I'll fake date you to make him jealous and teach you how to like date and get this man's if you help me pass this class. And she was like, sure. You know, you got classic vibes in there for sure. What I didn't really like about it is the women that were discussed, and like how other women were discussed, and how the main character kind of talked about and viewed other women was very like negative and like internalized misogyny, and I just didn't like it. I was like, there is no need for this. This is really like, I don't really like you. And the character definitely did have her moments, and I wanted to like her, but I was like, if you were a real person, I would not want to be your friend. I would not want to be in your life. I would not trust you. And that just kind of sucks, you know? Like, it just wasn't my vibe. So won't be continuing with the series, but again, so many people love it. It also might just be like the time, like had I read it in high school, maybe I would have had more fun with, probably not because of the sports like hockey romance aspect, but again, reading college books in college just isn't for me. So take that review with a grain of salt. And then in September, I read Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is why we're so late. Well, anyways, I have a whole reading vlog that I took hours and hours and hours and hours to edit, so you can go watch that for my thoughts on this book. And then I read In a Jam. I really liked this one. It was just an Instagram reel that I picked up, and it was so cute. Made my heart warm. So opens on our main character, and this is in the description, so it's not a spoiler, but her fiance's called off the wedding. She doesn't really know what to do now. She's really embarrassed, and her grandma had died last year. The lawyer calls her up, and they say, hey, your grandma left you the tulip farm. And she said, I don't know how to be a tulip farmer. And the lawyer's just like, well, it's yours now, and you can come and you can run it, and it's the land, the house, everything's yours, but you have to be married in a year for it to be solidified, otherwise the property goes to the town. And she's like, well, I'm embarrassed, I don't really want to look anyone in the eye, I could get out of here for a bit. So she wanders off to this tulip farm. So it turns out she had spent 2 years or something in high school living with her grandma for reasons you'll come across. And while she was there, she was friends with this guy, and those two really hit it off because both of them just wanted out of that town so badly. And she comes out, and look who's still living next door. Next farm over, okay? It is technically next door, but it's the country, so it's quite a distance. Noah has some resentment that she doesn't really understand, and she doesn't know why it's kind of there, but he can't seem to stay away. She's trying to find her place. Of course, they rekindle, but Noah's like, I can't be doing this. A, because I hold this resentment to you, which you'll find out why, and B, he's looking after his niece, so he's kind of like a single dad, but like a single guardian type thing, and he's like, I really gotta focus on her. She's had some stuff that I gotta get her through, and I can't focus on, you know, my relationship or myself. But at the same time, again, he can't stay away. He's the friendly neighbor farm guy. So I love them. They definitely had their moments. So cute, so fun. Love. I also read Finding You. This one I did not love. I gave this one 2 stars. Instagram reel again. This is how I get all of my book recommendations. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses. But yeah, this one, he's a Marine, and while he's deployed, he receives letters from his hometown, and mixed in there is a letter from this woman that he doesn't know, but it's just like her pouring herself out on paper, I guess, and it's really like his lifeline kind of out there. She's always going back to these letters, but he never writes her back. He just waits for these letters to come in, and then when he does come back home, he's trying to figure out who this woman is, realizes it's like his little brother's best friend. Little, I mean, everyone's of age. It's not like little in a creepy way, like they're in their late 20s, I think, maybe early 30s. So then he's like, oh no, it doesn't matter, I can never go for her. And she's just like, this is so weird that he's not saying anything about these letters I wrote him. And then they just go about their lives, and then, oh, boof, you know, they start hanging out. I didn't love it. The guy was so annoying. I couldn't stand him, and the girl deserves so much better. And I don't understand why they were attracted to each other in the first place. Like, why she ever wrote him still doesn't make sense to me, let alone kept writing to him when he never replied once and they had never met before. Just weird. But yeah, couldn't stand him. She deserved so much better. Didn't really love the book. I also read Zane. This was another one I picked up from Stuff My Kindle Day. I got so many books on Stuff Your Kindle Day. I made a top 10 video, and this made that one. So I picked it up, I think the night I made that video, or maybe the next day, but it was okay. Quick read, 3 stars. I've really been feeling tattoos recently, so, you know, the cover speaks for itself. But it's Friends to Lovers. The girl is on the Asperger's spectrum at somewhere, autism, Asperger's, it's not really said, but she's somewhere in the realm, and she goes to her best friend, who's a guy, who's Zane, and she goes, hey, I have decided that the next step in my life is a relationship. I don't really understand the social cues, or basically I don't really understand how to date and how it happens, but there's this guy at work that I think I'll be compatible with. And her best friend is just like, excuse me, I've been in love with you for our whole friendship, and I never pushed anything because you never had any interest in a relationship, and now you're telling me you want me to teach you how to date another guy. Not happening. I will teach you how to date. I will teach you how to date me. That's essentially the book. It had its moments. I just didn't really care about the characters at the end. I wasn't attached to them. I wasn't invested in them. I wasn't invested in their relationship. It didn't connect with me at all. Another one off that top 10 list was Moonflower. I was gonna save this one until October, but again, I was in a Halloween creepy mood earlier and I just couldn't wait. It happens right around Halloween. It's Friends to Lovers. It's MFN, no sword crossing. Basically, the girl has been in love with her 2 guy best friends, but can't pick between them, so she goes, I need to distance myself. She goes to a different college, like 5 hours away from the city or whatever, but she just kind of doesn't get over them and goes deeper and deeper into like sadness and trying to like cut herself off from them because she needs space from them. And they're like, why does she keep like ignoring us? All this other stuff. And then the one friend stumbles upon the secret somehow, which you can read, but finds out that she's actually interested and attracted to both of them, and that's why she's like backing off. And he's like, well, this won't do, this is ridiculous, just take us both. So then him and the friend drive down to her university for like Halloween weekend, and then they go, this is ridiculous, just have us both. And she goes, okay. And that's basically, and then the book just takes place over that weekend. There's some other like Halloween-y aspects, like there's this graveyard scene. Wasn't my cup of tea, but like there's like masks and chasing and stuff like that as well. So honestly, the book as a whole just kind of let me down. Again, I wasn't invested in the characters, I wasn't invested in the relationship, I wasn't invested in the story. There was so much potential, and yeah, no. And then the third one I read from my Stuff My Kindle top 10 list was Make Me. This one I really did like. This was another one that I was saving for Halloween, but I read it in September. Okay, happens around Halloween times. She is a one night stand only kind of thing. She doesn't want attachment, she doesn't want to get involved, she doesn't want to see the guy ever again. And he falls hard and fast. It's definitely insta love, but it's not cringy. And he's like, no, we're not one night, we're gonna be more than this. And she's like, no, we're not. And he's like, I'm gonna be so good that you want more than one night of this. And then yeah, kind of goes from there. It had its fun moments, it had its cute moments. I was laughing, I was smiling. There was a lot of character development, there was a lot of chemistry between the characters. There was also just like the outside relationships, not like the main romance relationship, but like the relationship with her brother or like his mom and stuff. That was just all very cute as well. Very well-rounded book. Would be checking out this author again. Unfortunately, I don't think any of her stuff is on Kindle Unlimited, so we'll see if something comes up in the future, if I can find her on the library or something, but definitely an author I'll keep in the back of my mind. Okay, and then I would say probably my favorite book that I read this month was The Brightest Light of Sunshine, and because I'm doing this so late in the future, I can also tell you that I picked it up again at the end of October. Didn't do a full reread of it, just like skimmed through to my favorite parts, but it was just so cute and sweet, and I loved it, especially for like the first 70% of this book. It would have been a 5-star for me. The ending got like a little boring, a little dragged out, a little tedious, a little unnecessary, so it ended up being a 4-star, but I still really enjoyed it. Our main girl, she has, you know, some trauma in her past, but she's ready to move on, ready to move forward. And you know, she is at a place where she's like, I'm ready to pursue things romantically. And then we have our guy. He's a little bit older, so she's college aged. He's a little bit older. He's like, I can't pursue anything with anyone because my home life is a mess, my mom is a mess, and I basically am raising my 5-year-old little sister. And I always need to be on so that if anything happens or my mom calls me or the little girl needs something, like I can always show up and be there for her. Well, guess who develops feelings for each other? You would never be able to guess. You would never be able to guess, but yes, needs to. He's trying to fight it. She's trying to like explore and be like, oh, like they do develop a friendship, and she's like, I feel really safe with him. I've never had a male friend. Like, I want to pursue this further. And he's like, obviously I'm interested and I'm invested, and like I love you as a person, like as a friend, and I would like to see things go in a different direction, but I can't give that to you right now because everything has to be kind of directed towards my little sister. And she's just like, well, okay. And then it kind of evolves from there. I can't give you much more without giving you much more, but it was really cute, really wholesome. It gave me all the hearts and the flutters and the vibes, and oh, we love it. He also owns a tattoo parlor and has a bunch of tattoos, and again, I was in a very tattoo mood. Same with Make Me. He was also a tattoo artist and had a bunch of tattoos. You see the train? Okay, tattoos. I don't know why. I don't even have any tattoos, but that was the mood of September. But yeah, so we're to the end. Those were the 14 books I read in September. Again, sounds like a lot because a lot of them were novellas. Like I think I had 5 novellas on this list, maybe more. So, but this video is done. I'm going to edit it, I'm going to get it up, and I'm going to continue with my content, and we are just going to ignore the reaction video possibly forever, but I'm hoping that when I have free time over Christmas break, I can get that worked out and get that up. But I had to move on. I just had to move on. So thanks for sticking around, and it's back to the regular scheduled programming. If you like this, you can leave a like and a subscribe down below. I post videos every Friday. I will post videos every Friday, and sometimes I post them on Tuesdays when I'm feeling it, but I am going to be getting back to the swing of things, so I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.